What's going on, everybody? For USA Muay Thai, my name's Nate Freeman. I'm joined by the 2022 World Games gold medalist and the 2022 Queen's Cup winner. She's fighting at Pride and Fight Promotions 15 against Tierra Brandt on Saturday, August 26th in Hammond, Indiana. Charlsey Maner is fighting, and that fight is sponsored by USA Muay Thai in Phuket, Thailand, Heritage Muay Thai in Houston, Texas, and the Muay Thai Advisory Group. And the winner of that fight will go on to compete in the World Combat Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Charlsey, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for speaking with me today.
It's always great to have you. I was saying before we got on air, you are the person that I've spoken with most between this and my MMA channel that I work for. So it's always great talking with you. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. This is for many people considered to be one of the most important, especially female Muay Thai fights in American Muay Thai history. First of all, just tell me how it feels to be a part of such a monumental fight, and then just talk to me about how you're preparing for the fight in general as well.
Oh man, it's crazy humbling for sure. I mean, it's a really cool opportunity. I feel super privileged to just have the opportunity to fight for this spot, and I'm just humbled, honestly. I mean, I'm excited about it for sure, but I mean, to just be in this position is really just, I'm super proud to be representing women in the sport, to be bringing this kind of attention to USA Muay Thai. I just think it's all around a super cool thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. And I know that you, I think it was even just a couple of weeks ago, just competed and won a fight for another promotion. And so you've gotten right back into camp to get ready for this fight on the 26th. Talk to me about that quick turnaround. Obviously, you've had experience fighting in tournaments. So this is a little bit different than that, but it's still a different experience going from one fight to the next. So just talk to me about.
Yeah. So I fought for Warriors Cup for their 125-pound belt. And, so I mean, it was a full rules 5-round fight, no gear or anything like that. And I mean, honestly, I was fortunate enough, like I didn't have any injuries or anything, which is, rare for a fight. I mean, even if you are doing well in the fight, you're likely to come out with some sort of like, some bumps and bruises and stuff. But man, I just had nothing, which was really a blessing. And honestly, I've kind of been joking and saying I just feel like I'm in a really long fight camp that just happened to have a fight right in the middle of it. So yeah, so it's been fine. Honestly, I mean, I feel like, of course I'm training harder than I've ever trained before, but I'm just like giving it all that I have, and I'm just gonna like trust in that the day of the fight and know that I did everything I possibly could have to come out, with the win.
And you're fighting someone that you're very familiar with, Tierra Brandt, who was on the World Games team with you. She won silver in her weight category, and now she is an IFMA gold medalist, won that tournament this year. And so talk to me about maybe some sort of your game plan about what you see in her, and maybe some weaknesses that you like to think that you'll exploit, and some of her strengths as well.
Yeah, so I really just have a lot of respect for her. I mean, I know she's been in the sport for a really long time. I know she has a ton of experience, and that's definitely something I admire. And, of course, respect. And I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with her. The topic of us fighting has sort of been like floating around, for a while. And I always knew we would cross paths eventually. I just didn't really know when it would happen. So it seems like it's kind of happening like at the right time now. So, but yeah, I know she's super fast. I know she gets stronger. She fights like that traditional Thai style, like, how she'll like start slow and then just gets going as the rounds go on, which is how I like to think that I fight also. So I know we'll both have good gas tanks, and I'm really looking to, keep the pace high, and I know she will be too. So I think it'll be a super high volume, just high output type of fight. So we're definitely preparing for that.
I don't know if I've asked you this before, but what kind of like mental preparation do you do? Do you do a lot of visualization of how the fight's going to go or anything like that?
Sort of. I mean, of course I like think about it, and you kind of can't, it's like all I think about, I can't help but not think about it. And I try not to think too much about like not just with this fight, but with all fights. Like I have a general idea of like their style just from, watching the fights that, of theirs that I could find, but I try not to like overanalyze it because of course, like the longer we do this sport, the more we train, hopefully we're always evolving and, patching up our weaknesses and improving on our strengths. So you can't I feel like you can't bank too much on them being the same person that they were in a previous fight. So I try not to like think about it too much about, oh, they're definitely going to do this or they're definitely going to do this, because then if you get in the fight and then they don't do it, it could, hinder me mentally. I'm like, oh, I thought she was going to do this and then she didn't. And, so really I just try to focus on what I'm good at and, doing what I'm good at and enforcing that during the fight, and then just trusting my reactions, trusting my preparation. So really I do visualize, and of course I always visualize getting the win, but I don't necessarily visualize how I get the win.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious, y'all were on, like I mentioned before, on the same team for the World Games. Where do you think you've improved the most since y'all were last together on that team between then and now?
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. I just feel like we've done so much that I myself have changed so much as a fighter for sure. I definitely would say I think I'm a little bit more defensive now, and then also thinking using my offense as defense. I think in the past, I just sort of would get in that mindset of I'm going to eat some punches, but I'm hopefully going to give more than I'm going to take type of thing. And just sort of marching forward and just trying to just plow through it, and I still like to think of myself as a pressure fighter, but I think I'm better now at recognizing if something's not working, then I got to switch it up and not just be so stuck in one track sort of mindset in a fight, because obviously there's levels and you have to be able to recognize, okay, I tried this in round 1 and round 2. I don't think it was working the best. So round 3, I got to switch it up. You can't just, just because you think you're good at one thing, it may not work in that certain situation. So you got to recognize that and adapt and change.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So how do you see this fight going? Obviously you see yourself getting your hand raised, like you said, but
yeah.
Is there a particular sort of way that you want to win, or is there a particular thing that you want to see happen in this fight?
Oh man, honestly, I am really looking forward to I know she's very technical, so I think for me, it will be a challenge to sort of adapt in the fight and learn and grow throughout the fight. So I don't, like I said before, I don't really picture exactly how I'm going to win, but in my mind, I just picture me getting my hand raised. So really, I just want to go in there. I want to keep the pace high. I just want it to be an exciting and entertaining fight. And, really there's no specific thing that oh yeah, I'm definitely going to land this, because you just can't plan on anything like that, because you might get in there and then, it's just completely different than what you thought it was going to be. And you just can't let that, hinder you mentally. So no, there's not sorry, there's not.
No, you're good.
I wish I could say, oh yeah, it's just going to be a 1-2 or something.
You're going to get you just always say, I'm going to get that head kick knockout that I got at the Queen's Cup every time.
Honestly, in the Queen's Cup though, I didn't even know I was going to get that, so that was, my coach said too, it was crazy being in Thailand. And then I felt like I was winning round 1 and round 2, but in round 1, I ate an elbow right to the eye and my eye was swollen shut. And then, being a foreigner in Thailand, of course I don't
Fighting
think,
a Thai especially, yeah.
yeah, I don't think they really wanted like, this American foreigner to win, so it's like in between round 2 and round 3. And my coach is like, what are you doing? he's like, you're going to knock her out. He's like, hook, head kick. What are you doing? I was like, I'm going to knock her out. And then round 3 came, and fortunately it happened, but it wasn't like a pre-planned thing. It wasn't like during fight camp, we were just like doing hook, head kick, which we did some of, but that wasn't like the set plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about international competition, if you do win this fight, you're going to be going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for the World Combat Games. Talk to me about, obviously you don't want to look ahead of this fight, but what that will mean to you if you get the win to not only go to the World Combat Games, but to represent USA Muay Thai in that way.
Man, that would be such a privilege. I mean, really, it's hard, it's hard to think about, because the main thing on my mind at this point in time is obviously this fight. And it's like, one step at a time, but, I do think about it, and I think it would be an amazing opportunity. And I just am so thankful. I mean, I love representing women in this sport and helping it grow. I think it's grown so much just in the time that I've kind of been on the scene. Like, I really love seeing the rise of Muay Thai in the US, and then also the rise of women in Muay Thai in the US, and so just to be a part of that would be really cool. And that would actually only be my second time out of the country. Bangkok was my first time out of the country, so that would be my second trip out of the country, and that would be pretty special.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome to go to two great places and compete in two great places.
Yeah, it's like fighting, traveling, like it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. So you spoke about sort of the growth of USA Muay Thai, and I think one of the things that separates us from a lot of different places is our sort of model that we've come up with recently of competing to earn a spot on the team, and you earn your ranking.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit, and how important it is for fighters to know their rankings by competing?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, to me, I mean, competing is sort of like a representation of your growth in the sport. I mean, how do you know that you're evolving and getting better if you don't compete, And so especially like, with the rankings and everything, I mean, it just like fuels that competition, like everybody wants to be in the top. And I think that, of course, makes the competition steeper. It makes everyone train harder. It makes everyone want to evolve and get even better so they can get to that top spot, And so I just think it's more incentive, for people to want to compete, for people to, want to earn that spot. And so I think it's really cool that they're doing that. And then, I mean, it just sort of gives people maybe like a little bit of credibility, if you can say like, oh, like, I'm not just saying I'm good. Like, I'm not just saying I'm, at this level. Like, you can climb your way up to that level. And then you have like, your resume of all these tough, fights that you've had to prove that, you've earned your spot pretty much.
So one last thing before we wrap up. One, what's your message to Tierra going into the fight? And two, what's your message to the fans who are going to be watching it?
Yeah. So my message to Tierra is, first of all, thank you for, accepting this fight and being able to share the ring with me. I appreciate, just the opportunity, and I respect you a lot as a fighter and as a woman in the sport. And then my message to the fans is that it for sure is going to be an explosive and high-paced fight between the two of us. And I hope we make the USA Muay Thai team proud. I feel sure we will. So definitely tune in.
Absolutely. So before I let you go, the drill with at this point. How can people follow you on social media? And I'll give you the floor to give any shout outs to sponsors, coaches, anything like that.
Well, thanks. Yeah. So mostly I'm just on Instagram. It's just my first name, Charlsey BM. And then, my profile picture is of me, doing the Y crew. So it's pretty easy to find if anybody wants to follow along. Of course, I'll post, all the links to access the live stream or to buy tickets for the fight if anyone happens to be around the Hammond, Indiana area. And then, of course, I just want to say thanks to, so many people, but we don't have that long. But definitely my coach, Mark Clem. I mean, he's put in a crazy amount of work helping me prepare for this fight. And I'm super, super thankful for him and all my teammates at the UFC gym, you know, who train with me and push me and never take it easy on me every single day. And my family for supporting me the whole way through, and all my friends and everybody just following my career. I'm just really grateful.
This has been Charlsey Maner. You can catch her competing at Prime Fight Promotions 15 in Hammond, Indiana on August 26th, competing for a spot on the World Combat Games, competing for a spot at the World Combat Games representing USA Muay Thai. Charlsey, thank you so much for your time and best of luck in the fight.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it.